And how did that experience and that 2 year recovery period or reflection period then spiral into doing a 4,200 mile triathlon around Great Britain? Because that doesn't sound like the musings of a man who's sick of riding their bike to me.
Yeah. Well, quite a few things happened in between that, really. So I did the round the world cycle, got back, tried to get work for 6 months, just didn't even get an email reply saying you haven't got the job type thing. So that's when I was like, well, I just need to get out of my mum's flat. I was living on the sofa bed in a basement apartment with no windows in Cheltenham, and thought, well, if I think of another record, maybe I'll get funding again. It'll just get me out the house. At least I'll be able to buy food for the. If I choose something that's going to take 3-4 months long, at least the sponsorship will put food on my table during, while I'm doing it. And that's when I thought of swimming Land's End to John O'Groats. So that happened in 2013. So that took 4.5 months, so a little bit longer than I told the support crew. I put an advert. I remember putting an advert out in a magazine, and it was all expenses paid, summer sail up the British Isles, supporting a swimmer.
You're a con artist, Sean. You're a con artist.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Missold them there because I was still swimming in Blimmin' November. It's not what they signed up for, but they stayed. So I owe them everything really. But when I finished that's my life changed overnight on that swim. I woke up the next day with sponsors emailing me wanting to fund the next thing and book deals and TV people going, you look a bit weird and interesting, what do you want to do next, we'll film it type thing. And that's when I did the run, so to finish the triathlon of Britain. So I'd done the cycle, done the swim, so I thought, right, well, might as well run it now just to tick that box. So then I ran from John O'Groats back to Land's End, and that was fun. I took 2 attempts on that one really. I got injured on the first attempt, which seems to be my trademark lately.
Didn't you get injured?
Which is a worrying.
Running whilst taking a selfie? Am I right in saying? Is that how that happened?
I do actually. I'll go.
Have you got the selfie?
This is funny. Hold on. I've got the newspaper article that the Sun printed.
I bet they tore you a new one, as the Sun does best.
Thought I'd frame this to my kids, be like, oh look, selfie harm.
Oh no.
quite insensitive to people. But anyway, it's so I was doing a video selfie, so they took the screen grabs of the video. I was basically running along and didn't see a rock. That was a tiny little rock, but it just did enough to injure my my knee. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I probably, had I not fallen there, probably would have twisted my ankle anyway. I wasn't run fit. That's the first time I'd really taken up running when I was what? How old was I then? 34 is pretty much the first time I started running. Other than I did cross country at school and that sort of thing. But yeah, so I wasn't really run fit. So that injury came on because I wasn't run fit really. But yeah, the selfie was the start of it. So yeah, so that was that's happened in 2015, and then the triathlon around Britain was 2016, which again, once I'd done the swim, it was actually before it was actually when I did the round the world bike ride. Is I came up with this philosophy, this idea of trying to get the 3 Fs of endurance, which is the world's first, furthest, and fastest, and thanks for your compliment on me, being able to tell stories and doing things like that. Yes, I do enjoy doing those type of adventures, like climbing Kilimanjaro in a penguin suit or running a marathon in every national park in the UK. But I sort of know I can do those, where for the terrier to be scratched, I need to do something really difficult as well. So I do have to do the athletic ones, so like cycling around the world the fastest, first person to swim the length of Britain, first person to do the length of Britain triathlon. So yeah, the 3 Fs, first, furthest, and fastest, was something I was at the back of my mind, thinking, right, can I get a record in all three of those categories? So the swim was the first, and then the triathlon around Britain was going to be the furthest, the longest triathlon ever completed.